All right, well, thank you guys very much for taking the time to learn a little bit about Rembrand. Thank you to the Media Post folks for putting together an awesome event. I met a lot of great people last night. I'm looking forward to this afternoon, getting out on the boat and meeting a bunch of other folks. So quick show of hands, how many people have heard of Rembrand before? All right, I see 2 over here. I can't see here because I'm blinded by the light, and maybe there was 1 or 2 over here. So I'm gonna move pretty quick because I think we have about 15 minutes, now 14 and a half, and I baked way too much content in here. So I'm gonna move pretty quickly. So let me just tell you real quick what we are. We are an AI platform that enables virtual product placement, which essentially means we allow brands to become a part of the content that people love. So I'm gonna set the stage a little bit about why that matters and why you should care about that. And then I'm gonna quickly show you some examples and then move real quick through how simple it is to work with us. So this is a harsh truth. People really don't like ads. They view ads as unwanted interruptions, right? And as a result of that, we see a few different things happening. 1, they're moving to environments with much lighter content loads. 2, they're paying for premium subscriptions in many cases to completely eliminate ads. And 3, as more and more advertising becomes skippable, they're quick to skip the ad whenever given that opportunity. That means that each and every ad interaction has to become way more impactful and way stronger. And this is not just something that we are suggesting is happening. If you look at some of the biggest brands in the world, they're talking about this same reality. And they're starting, as is Unilever, to rethink their entire messaging and marketing strategy. And a lot of that sort of starts to encompass many of the things we've already been talking about. How do you work with creators? How do you focus on great content that people love? As Unilever says, how do you create systems where other people are the ones talking about the merits of your brand, right? Corporate messaging is viewed as suspicious and not what the younger generations are really open to listening to. What is becoming increasingly clear, though, is that people are absolutely obsessed with their content. If you look at what's happened over the past 40 years, right, we went from a place where there really was no internet and nobody was online to now 60% of people's waking time is spent connected to some device or some screen. And when you look at the average in the US, the average person in the US spends about 7 hours connected to the internet in one form or another. For the younger generations, that number goes up to about 9 hours. And there's teenagers in this country are spending more than 3 hours each and every day watching video or TV. That's more than any other activity that they're doing. So clearly they are absolutely passionate and crazy about their content. That's a great opportunity, but it's also challenging because the landscape of content has become really, really fragmented. On streaming platforms alone, there's over 1 million different titles. And from a creator and social perspective, there's over 45 million professional creators in this country, right? So lots of choice, yet at the same time, how do you find the right content, tap into the right content to reach the audiences in the way that you're hoping to reach them, and in a way that's consistent with your product, your messaging, and the value that you offer. So we've talked a lot about creators over the past 36 hours or so. And we all know it's a huge channel and it requires and demands a lot of our attention. The reason why it's so important, though, is because the younger generations, even though TV still plays a huge role, the younger generations view social content as much more relevant to them. And they feel much more connected to creators than they do to traditional TV personalities and celebrities. That's not who they respond to. That's not who they listen to. So we need to find a way as an industry to really tap into that, and we've seen great examples of that already. So we offer a different way to think about it. What if you could turn the best content that people already love into your best advertising? So not a new concept. Plenty of examples of great brands that have done this over the years. So just quick show of hands, how many people have seen E.T.? Who can just call it out? What candy was showcased in E.T. and played such a big role? All right. Risky business. What kind of sunglasses? What kind of car did he drive into the lake? Anyone? Risky business. What, there we go. Castaway. Who was his best friend? Wilson. All right, last but not least, what kind of car does Tony Stark drive? I heard Acura? No. Audi. There we go. Right? So we have come to recognize these brands, and these brands stand out to us, not necessarily because the brands themselves did something within those storylines that was speaking to their differentiation, but because we all have such a connection to this content and love this content so much that decades later, we still remember the brands that were featured within that content. And that's a huge opportunity for all of us. So we've created what we believe is a much better way to do this than the legacy way of doing product placement. The problem with those other types of product placement and integrations, A, they're super costly. B, they take months and months of advanced planning, and that's not really the speed at which most of us work in this day and age. And then lastly, they're cumbersome, and there's really no guarantee that the brand is going to show up the way that you want. Well, thankfully, because of the advent of AI, you can now take content in its post-production final cut version and actually digitally insert brands in a manner that makes it look as though the real physical products were there during the production process. And that's really what we do. And so we've created two different ways to do this. The first is virtual product placement. When somebody's watching a TV show or they're watching content from their favorite creator, the brand is integrated organically into that content and there whenever you watch that program, whether you're watching it through your streaming platform, tuning into a television show on linear, or going to YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram and getting content from the people that you subscribe to and follow. The other way that we do it is through a product that we call virtual product ads. This is actually similar to something Angela mentioned earlier, which is where we actually take content from the creators, we put that into a dedicated 15 or 30-second ad, augment it with virtual product placement, and then also package in the brand's own creative and give that to you to deliver across your entire media plan as you see fit, where you can control the targeting, control the exposure, control the scale of it. The reality is both of these solutions offer a way to really personalize your media strategy and to do it at massive, massive scale. So we're gonna take a look at a few examples here. So the first thing you're gonna see are a bunch of different examples from real shows, partners that we work with, of virtual product placement. So this is just products integrated into the content. So again, just keep in mind, none of these products actually physically existed during production. So this is just a little warm up to give you a sense of the types of ads. This is part of our campaign with Walmart, where they wanted to promote certain products from within their store. So our AI is able to identify the optimal moments within the scenes to integrate the brand. The brand chooses those specific scenes and approves them. We develop the creative placements for them, the models that ultimately get integrated into the content. The brands approve that as well, and then we handle the actual integration, and then the content lives across whatever platform the content owner is distributing it across. So I'll let this play for a few more seconds. So you're seeing a bunch of different examples. Actual physical products, shopping bags for Walmart in this example, signage that looks very natural to a scene within a show, automobiles integrated into the content. So the possibilities are endless, and we work across all different categories, and different formats lend themselves to different categories. So there's a lot of flexibility there. The next thing I want to show you, this is actually a music video. I don't know if anybody listens to Coi Leray. Her recent song was number 9 on the Billboard Hot 100 and number 1 in the hip hop category. So we got creative with how we integrated one of the L'Oreal brands into her content. I'll play this for like 10 seconds. So there's a few different shots here, right? The Mugler billboard. Right? So a few different looks, right? This is content. The beauty of this is it's completely unskippable. and it's not an interruption to the actual viewing experience. This is content that people love, they're highly engaged with it, and the brand has a significant presence in a natural way. One of the other things that we've started to do over the past 6 to 9 months is we are actually taking content that the brands already either own, have created, or have the rights to, and see that there's an opportunity to augment that content to make sure that it has the biggest impact possible. So in this next example, another L'Oreal example, where they've worked with tons of creators to create content that they can distribute through their owned and operated channels, they can distribute within the creators feed to their subscribers, but they're using virtual product placement to actually ensure that the brand shows up. So you'll see in the background, as she's using different products, the product actually appears on the shelf, slightly outsized, but as a way to make sure that the consumer actually sees what product it actually is. And so we took L'Oreal's content, augmented it in this fashion, gave it back to them, and then they can distribute it however they want to distribute it. So I'm going to jump forward here. So those were all examples of virtual product placement. I want to show you virtual product ads. I'll give you a few different examples. Leanne is here. We were actually talking about this. I gave her a sneak preview because this is actually something for Kroger, right? So this is one of our creators, Della Vlogs. We work with about 2,500 different creators. She's got 4 million followers. Her channel on YouTube has 4 million followers. She's just one example of a creator. She's preparing, obviously, cookies with her daughter around the holidays. We use her content, integrate the Kroger bag, and then it seamlessly transitions into Kroger's own video ad creative. And this entire piece runs as a standalone 30-second ad unit that Kroger can run wherever they want. So they can run it on YouTube. They can target it directly to Della Vlogs followers and subscribers. So there's 4 million people that they instantly know the ad will have resonance with, because those are people that are already following Della Vlogs. They can also run it across CTV, and we now also have a partnership with the Trade Desk, where they can just push it right into their Trade Desk seat and run it wherever they want to run, wherever they can. I want to show you, so this is a fun example. So this is New Rockstars, another partner that we work with on YouTube. They also have 4.5 million followers. Unilever came to us for Hellmann's and said, we actually have a line of flavored mayonnaise, and we want to start to appeal in different ways to people that actually hate mayonnaise, right? They wanted to play on the fact that you think you hate mayonnaise. Well, the new flavors are going to make you eat your words. So they came to us and they said, can we find content where people are explicitly talking about their disdain for mayonnaise? Through our marketplace, we can use our AI to enter a very simple prompt, find a whole bunch of pieces of content and clips that feature that. They go in, they approve the ones they want to use, and then we created this ad unit. In this case, we actually added a squeeze back element for additional branding. Can you turn the volume up for 1 sec?
I like a wet coleslaw.
Yeah.
I love mayonnaise.
No, that is disgusting.
I put mayonnaise on my hot dogs. I like
No,
That is
no.
unhinged.
You have to
get out.
I will
No.
say.
Mayonnaise is
no.
yuck.
New Hellmann's Garlic Aioli. Every squeeze is rich, creamy, and oh so irresistible. You'll want it with everything. Okay, just one more delicious garlic dip. Hellmann's Garlic Aioli.
So again, not only are you getting the use of the creator's content, but you now also get to leverage their audience to target that so that you know that the people that are seeing that have a strong affinity for the people that are being featured in the ad, and that's going to get them to engage more deeply, pay attention, and actually take an interest in the ad. I'll show you one more. This was just a McDonald's example where we incorporated a QR code, so you can really play on the format with a bunch of different features to really sort of suit the campaign needs.
What a day to be alive. Honestly, take a moment of gratitude right now and just sit with that feeling that even if you have not bat an eye at the fact that you are awake, you should be very grateful and thankful that another day is yet to have.
You have all the ingredients for this in your fridge. But ask yourself this. Of all the times you've made it at home, has it ever tasted like our McMuffin? Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Right, so another great example where a client comes to us and says, hey, we actually want to own the morning. We want to find creator content where they're talking about getting their day started, kicking off their morning routine. All of that gets sourced through our platform, and then it's a very simple approval process by the brand. We build out the creative in most cases and create the entire ad unit, and then they can activate it. We can also activate it on a managed service basis, but in most cases nowadays we're giving it to them and they're running it on a direct basis or programmatically through the trade desk. So just a couple of quick housekeeping notes. I know I have 17 seconds left. We are really content agnostic. We are happy to work with content that you have the rights to and think there's new and different ways to use it through these formats. Plus, we also have a huge third-party marketplace. We work with about 2,500 creators. We work with some of the biggest names in TV for virtual product placement: Warner Brothers Discovery, Paramount, AMC Networks, A&E, quite a few different across a bunch of different audience types and demographics across all platforms: linear, streaming, connected TV. So you can really control where you actually leverage our technology and how you run it. The process is super simple. Come into our platform. You can do this on a self-service basis. Start playing around with search queries. Find the content that meets your needs. Select the clips that work best. We present these to you in a marketplace format as search results, where you get to actually see the specific clips from those content providers and choose the ones that both match your needs thematically, but also reach the right target audience. Review the creative that we develop, and then we can hand it over to you and you can run it, right? We are just a technology that supports a new creative format that allows you to reach brands in more organic and authentic ways. And then, depending on where you run it, you can sort of measure this as you are measuring the rest of your campaign, whether that be through a Kantar for brand lift or using sales lift partners or your own first-party data to push data into your models. And we've just proven time and again that when you use content that people love, their level of interest and attention goes up dramatically, and then all the downstream metrics improve significantly as well. And that is basically it. I will wrap there, and if there are any questions, feel free to ask them, or I had included my email, but Jared, Jared, at Rembrand.com. If anybody has additional questions, I'm happy to ask.
Mike, pull that last one up for him. There you go,
there
right
we go.
there. Big round of applause for Jared here. Jared, great job.
Thank you.